text writer.
How you doing today, Charlie?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. It's certainly nice to meet you. I'm glad you agreed to be able to sit down with me and talk a little bit about what our team has to offer. I'm curious, how long have you been looking at homes?
Off and on the past year, just seeing what's out there. And your client care, Kendra called me and
Absolutely.
wanted to kind of meet you to see what was going on, what you guys could do for me.
Absolutely. Well, I work with buyers every day. That's actually all I do. I'm strictly a buyer's agent. We have members of our team that work strictly with selling listings as well. But we believe that finding something you are good at and specializing in is the best way to handle things. So in your case, I'd love to be able to talk about what I have to offer, why I'm as good as I am at working with buyers, and really kind of go over that program. You said that you've been looking for a little bit over a year here. Do you have someone else that you're looking with?
No, I use Zillow or a Realtor, kind of just kind of glances out there.
Got it, absolutely. And I'm sorry, do you have maybe a significant other or something that you've been trying to find a home with as well? I'm just wondering if all the decision makers are at the table today.
I have my wife, but she's comfortable with my decisions.
Great, that's great. Well, let me go to first really talk about what our team has to offer and why we're as successful as we are. Okay. This is just a brief overview of the buyer benefit program. What I like to do is once we go through that, you're going to see as we get to page number 2 that I'm going to be asking at the bottom for you to sign. And again, I'm not going to ask you to do that right now. Maybe towards the end of the meeting, if you feel comfortable, I'd certainly love for you to. But what that's going to entail is not a perfectly binding contract. What it is it's a handshake. It's basically, by the end of this, you're going to find that you feel comfortable working with me. And through that, I want to make sure that I as well feel comfortable working with you. And what that signature will mean is that as long as I have this paper in hand, it means that you're as committed to me as I am to you. So that on my daily routines, I allow a certain amount of time to my key clients. And I allot other times to just prospecting and bringing in new business. Well, I want to make sure that if you're committed to me, that I'm giving you all the time you need to find that perfect home. And then, ultimately, if you feel that down the road that I haven't met your needs, then I'd certainly encourage you to, give me an opportunity to fix that, or we'll just tear up this agreement. And all that'll mean to me is that you're no longer committed to me, and I'm just going to have that much more time for some of my other clients. But more than anything, it's just a handshake between us to make sure that we're both committed to each other in this transaction. Okay. But I'd like to go over that a little bit. This is just a brief overview of really what our team has to offer. So I have my own copy here as well. But the first one there is we will assist you in securing the best financing program for your specific situation. So I'm curious, have you already been talking with a lender?
I have not.
You haven't? Okay. Well, that's definitely step one. Because when you start looking at homes, if you find that dream home and you don't already have a lender working for you, then unfortunately I can't even write an offer for you if I wanted to. So we want to make sure we get that set up for you. I do have a lender through Fairway that we do prefer and I use with the majority of my clients. Ultimately, the decision is yours on who you use. I would definitely like to have him be able to reach out to you. So we can talk a little bit more about that later. But heading down to number 2 here, we'll set you up with direct access to the MLS. So you can have priority access to everything that's on the market. And what that looks like is right now you've been using Realtor.com and Zillow, and you've been seeing everything. And beyond that, some homes haven't even been on there that have already sold. So it does have a little bit of a lag updating. But what I'd like to be able to do is give you direct access to the MLS. The MLS is actually the main source where homes are listed. Zillow and Trulia, they all pull from this source. So when it comes to live guaranteed new access, this is where you're going to want to be. So what we'll do is we'll set you up with a direct search to homes that only meet your needs. So whereas Zillow and Trulia, you're seeing the 27,000 houses that are on the market. What I'm going to be able to do by going through and seeing what it is you're looking for in a home, I'm going to get that 27,000 down to likely under 100. So that you've got 100 homes to review, and one of those is likely going to be the home you want. So we'll talk about doing that maybe towards the end of the meeting if you feel comfortable working with me. Okay. And we'll go through that. But number 3 here, we'll arrange private showings for any property you want to see. And that's key. It's when I'm showing you a property, I don't want the whole family there when we're seeing that house. I want that private time to be able to walk through, get your opinions of the home, and not feel like you're bombarded by anybody else. So I'll definitely be able to do that for you. We will use our specialized knowledge and proven strategies to ensure you get the best home for the best possible price. That comes down to negotiating and experience. I know that anybody, a lot of people feel like they can go in and negotiate on their own behalf, but with our team and with the all the access we have and knowledge base, we actually tend to average about 3% less on price per home than your average agent. So how that works is if I ever run into a stumbling block on a property, I've got 5 other very experienced agents that we sit down and we discuss that listing and see what the best possible price for that is. It usually takes me about 2 hours to sit down and come down to an exact price, but I'm very thorough.
Okay.
Number 5, we'll present our offer on your behalf and negotiate in your favor. That's just touching on it again. Obviously, it's not just about the purchase price, but it's how it's presented. So I usually do digging on the agent, the seller, how they purchased the property, so many different factors to make sure we're getting the best possible price. Number 6 there, as a member of the Keller Real Estate Group Buyers Benefit Program, you'll have direct priority access to our select team and our outstanding professionals. So what that looks like, it's not just the lender I mentioned, but we've got access to everything from a handyman to a full-blown contractor for you. So whatever you need, we'll be able to find somebody for you. Number 7 there, we'll present you exclusively with your best interests in the absolute forefront of everything we do. Our fiduciary responsibility is to you and unwavering even during the most precarious situations. What that means is that ultimately I'm here to represent you in this transaction. So when it comes to finding that perfect house, I'm going to dig in and do as much as I can, and you're going to be my main priority focus. So if that seller needs to sell, I'm going to find that out. So I'll be working quickly with you. Some of these bonuses below, these are just some things that, by having a strong team here, we have some additional things to offer. One of which is a free appraisal. So when you do find that perfect home, we will see that is waived and that you're not paying that. Essentially, about a $500 appraisal fee. So we'll be able to save that for you. Bonus number 2 is a free credit report. When we go through Fairway Mortgage here, we're going to be able to waive that fee as well, so that we can get you fully qualified and you're not taking on some of those additional expenses. Okay. Number 3, buyer satisfaction guarantee. If you're not satisfied with your home within a 12-month period after purchasing, we will sell your home for free so that you may move into the next house. So it's just, again, assuring that we're going to not only find that perfect home for you, but I'm willing to put my feet to the fire there and say if we don't find that perfect house, we get you the wrong house, then we'll sell it for free. We want you happy in the end. Okay? And number 4 there, communication guarantee. Whether it's me or my client care coordinator Kendra, or even my assistant Amy, if I'm out in the field and you need to get a hold of me, you're going to have a backup phone number as well that you can always get a hold of my team. And then if I need to get a hold of you, but I'm with clients as well, we're just going to make sure that you're always getting solid communication and that you're not waiting on me or anybody, in other words. You're going to always have immediate access to information. All right? We'll just switch page 2 here. Now, we offer a lot of the team, but at the same time, we expect certain things from our clients as well. It's just number 1 here is to make your house hunting process easy by obtaining a written pre-approval. And that's just about getting lending done first. I don't want to show you that dream house and find out that you haven't even gotten qualified yet. So your commitment to me is getting that done before we start looking at homes. Number 2 here is to allow us to represent you whenever you see a home, new or resale, that you want to view. This means that you will let me know when you're going to view a home and advise all other agents, builders, and for sale by owners that we are your agent. And if you want to make an offer, it will be made through us. And we'll discuss some of the rules in that, but basically, if you want to go into a new build, I'd love to be right there by your side representing you. So this is just, again, your commitment that we're working for you and you're just as committed to us. So number 3 here, give us 6 months from the commencement of this process to represent you as an agent. Now, from my experience, I've never had somebody take 6 months. I usually average about 5 houses per client. And the reason I'm able to do that is I spend so much time up front really digging in and finding out what it is you're looking for in a home that it doesn't take long. I'll be able to find it for you pretty quick. But just to have it in there for your peace of mind, we want to give that 6-month period as well. So number 4 there. Upon mutual agreement, buyer agrees to allow a sold sign be erected in their front yard for a period of up to 2 weeks after we close. What that basically means, we don't always do it, but if we were to find your dream home and we, maybe we work heavily in that area, we just want to be able to put a sold by Keller Real Estate Team sign right in the front yard, just a little tiny sign poked in the grass there, just to say that we have a presence in the neighborhood. So no big deal there. And again, right at the end there, it just says this deal automatically expires after 6 months. But again, if we find out in the 6 months that you're not comfortable with me for some reason, which I've absolutely never had happen, we can tear this up sooner. It's certainly fine with me, but I guarantee we're not going to run into that scenario. So when it comes to signing here, I mean, if you feel comfortable with me, feel free to sign anytime. But by all means, we can continue discussing really what our team has to offer.
Yeah, all these things sound great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a lot of real estate agents that actually have very similar things. I think I'm more interested in saying what you can do for me. If you can prove that, then I'll probably signing this.
Yes.
I'd like to see what can be done in person and in writing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I'd like to know more kind of what are you going to, how are you going to find me the home? How are you going to make sure I are getting into the right house?
Absolutely. And again, I think that your mind's going to be very put at ease on that point when we go over kind of your MLS search there. You're going to find that once we really hone in on what you're looking for, you're going to gradually see that 27,000 houses drop. And what we can do from that is we can really find out what are your important ultimatums and what are just preferences. For example, if we get it down to 100 houses and you say your ultimatum is you want a pool, well, if we put in pool, that 100 may drop down to 10. Now you want to probably have a few more options than 10 houses. So you've got to kind of decide, what's important to you and what's not. And as for, other agents, I can tell you that 95% of agents, not only do they offer a lot of the stuff, but they don't sit down and do an in-person search with their client. And the problem with that is most client portals, usually they give their clients roughly 700 houses to review. Well, in all reality, about 680 of those houses aren't going to meet their clients' needs. They're bombarding them with a lot of homes that were never the perfect home. And what can happen in that is you may get frustrated, which I would totally understand, and end up choosing one of those homes when in all reality, that 20 homes in there, you may not have ever seen them. So what I like to do is make sure that search is really dwindled down to meet your needs. We can get it under 100, and then by that, you're seeing every single home on there that really meets your needs, and you're going to make the right choice.
And I don't have access. Zillow doesn't do this for me?
No, you can do a basic search on Zillow for sure. But the problem is they don't have all the details that the MLS does. They can only, pull as much as they can pull. And additionally, the problem with Zillow and Trulia, they're not great starting points to kind of see what's out there. But when you're getting serious about buying, the reality is they lag. And what I mean by that is, depending on your price point, the homes move relatively quick. Well, a lot of the homes that end up on Zillow have already sold 3 days prior. You never even got an opportunity to see that. And beyond that, it's going to show active on Zillow for likely another week or two when it's been, almost closing date at that point on that home. So you're getting a lot of, unfortunately, out-of-date information, or, you're not even seeing a home before it already sold.
So signing with you, I get access to this?
Signing with me, you'll get live access, which means that when your house comes on the market, as soon as you hit refresh on your screen, it's there, right at the top of your list. And as soon as it sells, as soon as you hit refresh, it is live, full access. It's what every agent here in the Valley uses. But unfortunately, not all of them give that access to their clients. So we take the time to really hone in and give you a full profile access that meets your needs.
Interesting.
So we'll go over that. Now I know, Charlie, you're a first-time home buyer, and the whole process can be overwhelming in itself. To give you an idea, I'm just moving on past this for a moment. This is just a breakdown of what the process looks like. And we don't need to go over through it in detail, but I'd like you to have it on hand because it's pretty much a step-by-step, everything from getting the right lender all the way down to when I hand you the keys at the end. So, I mean, it's not an overwhelming thing to review to really give you a better idea of what the process looks like. And we can go over it now, but I'll tell you that a lot of these questions I'm already going over. This is just a good thing to review,
Okay.
but to have on hand.
I'll take a look at that sometime.
Now, we'll leave that over here. This is something that, unfortunately I wasn't able to send it to you via email. I typically can do that with my clients as well before we sit down. But this is really a breakdown of some great questions to keep your mind working in what you're looking for in a home. It allows me to get a better understanding of what you're looking for as well. Now you'll see through these, it doesn't have every single question. And some of them, you may not know the answers for yet. But what it is a great source to kind of feed through here and see, keep your mind working to see what it is you like and what you don't like. So what I would like to be able to do is I'll go grab us a couple copies here. And if you just kind of want to feed through some of those questions, get through a little bit of it there, that'll allow me when we do your search here to make sure that we're getting all the answers and finding that perfect house for you. Okay. So at this point, I would typically go get them their cup of coffee. I usually take, close to 5 to 7 minutes, and they're rarely done with the whole filling out at that point, but it's really got their mind working. And what I typically run into when I get back is them saying, in this case, it'd be Charlie saying, some of these questions I don't know how to answer because I want a pool, but I don't have to have a pool. And that's what I like to see. So in that case, if I was to come back and Charlie would say just that, how I would respond is, again, that's a great point. As we mentioned earlier, some of these things, they're ultimatums or they're maybe preferences. When it comes to setting up your search, we're going to hone in on the ultimatums. We want to know what you have to have. You have to have 3 bedrooms, or you have to have a pool, whatever it is. Because if it's preference, I want to still have it on paper so I know, but I don't want to put it into your search because I don't want to narrow you down to maybe a home that doesn't have that. So it's a great way for me to know what it is you want, but not necessarily everything we're going to put directly into our search here. Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of things I want, or some maybe ultimatums, but I don't know if it'll fit in my price range, so I haven't got a lender. So I think maybe I should look at talk to a lender first and seeing what I can qualify for. Because
it's important, right?
I think I have a lot of work to do before I can even think about buying a house.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean when it comes to the lending side of things, I'm glad that you're invested in that idea. That is priority one, is finding out where you qualify. I would never want to show you a $250,000 house to later find out that you qualify for $225,000. You'll never forget that more expensive home. That'll be the one. So it's best to really know your price range first. What we'll do today, is be a little bit more conservative. We can set up the search today and be more conservative on the price. And then if we get to bump it up, great. If not, then we'll leave it right where it's at.
Say I get approved, I get for whatever price. I fall in love with the house. What do my next steps look like? What do you do?
Right.
When that step forward,
Absolutely. So obviously we'll get you pre-qualified first, of course, and it sounds like you're saying that's already happened at that point. We've looked at houses and we find that perfect house. Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. So we're going to walk into that perfect house and this is the one. At that point, I'm all about timing. I even if it's a higher price point where homes move slower, I want to make sure that I'm right on it at that point. So we're going to end our search for the day. I'm going to go straight to my office and really hone in on price point for that home. So if it's listed at $350,000, I'm already going to have a good idea because I know most areas out here, whether it's over or underpriced, but I want to see by how much. So if it's, square right at $350,000, that's what it's worth, then obviously we've got to move quick because it's priced right and homes that are priced right move quick.
How do we figure that? I'm in the finance business. I'd like to get a good deal on my home.
Right.
Like to get a smoking deal on my home.
Okay.
In Zillow and all those other websites, it's hard to kind of figure out what's priced right. There's a Z estimate. I've heard you shouldn't always believe it, but how exactly how would I figure out if the home is priced correctly?
Right. Absolutely. And I totally understand. And you bring up Z estimate. You're right. By whoever told you that, it's not fully accurate. And the reason being is it can pull up not only old comps, but if the house next door that it's using as a comp has burned down, it still considers it as valuable. So I mean, there's some unfortunate things because it is an automated system where it just gives you a rough idea, but isn't perfect. What I do is I will hone in on, from the MLS side of things, real information, find out price point for the area, as well as in relation to what is the condition of the home, whether it has upgrades it needs or it doesn't, whether it needs to work or it doesn't, whatever the situation is I bring all these different factors into deciding on price point, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to present you with my results. I'm not just going to say, hey, it's worth $350, let's offer $350. I'm going to want you to feel comfortable with that number. I'm going to show you here's the other houses that have ultimately brought me to this price, and here's how I've adjusted these houses. Where this house might have went for $375, but it has a pool and granite countertops. It might be worth more than yours. So I'm going to adjust all those prices. It's not just cut and dry, the same house around the corner, same square footage sold for this, so it's worth the same. I want to look inside the homes and see what they're worth, and then put it on paper in front of you. So you're going to feel very comfortable by the time we're writing an offer that we're writing the right offer. And as for getting a smoking deal, we're going to hone in on what it's worth, but I'm also going to be looking into the motivation of the seller as well as their situation. I've got a deal I'm running right now where the seller has to pretty much either sell or they're going to go into short sale. So they're pretty motivated. So in that situation, even though it was valued at potentially $460, we got it for $405. And the reason is just motivation levels. We're going to run into that on some properties where your dream house might be owned by, unfortunately, a wealthy investor, where he's going to make sure that he gets his money's worth. So there's other factors. It's always dependent upon the property, but it's not always the value of the property, but the motivation of the seller as well. So I'll be doing both sides of that whole price.
Well, that's a lot of information.
It is.
I did not imagine how much work goes into this. And I talked to Kendra, your client care person. I told her I'm renting, and I'm renting. I have to deal with landscaping like that. And kind of concerned about what kind of goes into owning a home too. As much as it goes into buying a home, is it more of a headache for me to own a home than just to rent?
Well, I can understand that, and a lot of people, it's considered the easy road to rent. Basically you just pay someone else and they take care of everything. But the reality is you're spending a lot more in today's market renting than you could if you were to own. And what that looks like is basically right now there's about a 18%, actually I'm sorry, it's 25%, not 18, 25% increase in rent over mortgage. What that means is that if you have $1,000 mortgage, you're actually spending 25% more than that for your rental amount every month. And you could essentially get 25% more home if you chose to purchase. Beyond that, you would also get the equity over time by purchasing, where currently you're just paying someone else's mortgage for them and they're getting an increase in equity. But as for your concern is yard maintenance and everything else, of course there's stuff that goes into home, owning a home. If low yard maintenance is something that's important to you, then that's what we're going to look for. We're going to find that more of the desert landscape, maybe not a grass or a pool, is we want something that you can easily maintain. And another thing we consider is, if you want a pool, but you don't want maintenance, let's try to find a community that has a community pool, where essentially that's tied into your HOA. It's someone else's maintenance, not yours, and you still get to enjoy it whenever you want. So we'll get more into that really on your needs list and seeing what it is you're looking for to make sure we're finding you a home that not only is the right price for you and maybe the right home, but also meets your other needs in the way of how much time you have to devote to that maintenance.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So again, you mentioned that there's a lot in this meeting. Obviously as a new home buyer yourself, this is just kind of a fire hose of information. And again, the key thing to remember is I'm going to be with you through this whole process. So when we go and leave today, after I hopefully, get you obviously to sign that and we decide we're going to work together, just know that you're going to have questions tonight, tomorrow, and the next day, and you're going to forget some of this. This is just some information for you to keep on hand, but throughout the whole process, I'm not going to expect you to memorize everything. I'm going to be here to help you through the whole thing.
So say, you're on a team, correct?
I am.
So if you go out of town, how do if I see a home that I really want to get into, how does that work?
Right. Another benefit to having someone that obviously works on a team like myself is, whenever I go out of town, it's rare. I rarely actually do take vacations, but if by chance I do, during the time I'm working with you, I have partners. In this, with your situation, I would probably use Jared Stair. He's a close partner of mine that we work on a lot of transactions with, and I would make sure that you're well taken care of. If you want to see a home, you're gonna see the home. Me being gone isn't gonna change your level of service from our team. So
Jared Stair, you said?
Jared Stair.
Hey, you're George Stair?
I am.
So you're brothers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that. Family business.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So last question for me, and then maybe we can go over this again, is, why should I use you compared to someone like Andrew Bloom?
Absolutely. I understand. So Andrew Bloom and his team, they're very successful as well. I'm assuming they're referring to actually Andrew Bloom's team. Anyways, Andrew Bloom's team, there is other successful teams out there for sure. Most of them don't have the averages that I have working with buyers. So most teams do have a buyer's agent like myself, but they don't have as much value invested in. And what I mean by that is I not only want to be able to help you through this whole process, but I want to make sure I'm getting you in the right home as well. And what that looks like is my average being 5 houses per client. I'm able to do that because I invest so much time in the beginning in adding that value to you as a client. The average other buyer's agent averages about 26 homes per client. Now, when you're looking at 26 homes, a lot of the time, you're choosing the 26th home because you're tired of looking at homes, not because it was the perfect home for you. I'd rather show you 5 homes, and you're going to know that one of those 5 is going to be the one for you, and you're going to be making a decision, not because you're tired of looking at homes, but because I found the right one.
Got it.
So,
well, I like you a lot. And you said I can rip this up whenever I want.
You can. So my thing on that is really if you have a reason, obviously if I haven't met one of these needs, then yeah, absolutely. If I haven't met a need on this list and you brought it to my attention and I can't correct it immediately, then absolutely we'll both tear ours up and we'll just part ways. I can tell you again though, I've never had that happen.
Do I pay you a commission out?
No, absolutely not. So basically how it works is the seller pays the commission for the agents. So from your situation, you want to get the best agent you can because you're not paying for any agent you get. So if you go for an agent not on a team, they're going to be what I call a jack of all trades. They work with listings, sellers. They're also a stay-at-home mom. They're someone that's not fully invested in this business. By getting a buyer's agent like myself, not only are you getting all this value, but you're not paying for any of it.
But yeah, the more I pay, the more you make.
The more what?
The more I pay for a house, the more you make. So what's your incentive to drive down the price?
Very good question. The reality is I can show it to you from a different perspective. If you work with an agent that is part-time with jack of all trades, every transaction is everything to them. Every dollar out of that transaction means money to them. What I want is long-term client. This is my career. This is what I do. I want you happy and knowing that when you do eventually sell that home, that you're going to want to work with me again. And beyond that, I'm going to look to you to see if you have any friends or family that want to work with me. So my goal on driving down that price is wanting you to get the best price, you got it, and wanting to recommend you to everybody else you know. If I don't do that, then I've lost you for a future client as well as everybody you know. I always love this moment. It always happens sometime during the meeting. It usually really waits to the end. So I love seeing that investment in me, and I assure you that I'll go ahead and sign it myself and know that I'm fully invested in you.
Okay. I want to get moving on this process because the wife is not like the small quarters. So,
Okay.
I'm excited. It's a lot to take in, but hope we can find our house and hopefully we can find my dream home.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll certainly be able to do that. So what I'd like to be able to do now is, again, it's usually best to have both people present. I mean, is your wife, do you know everything she wants, or would you rather set up a time where I can maybe stop by your current home maybe later today when she's off work, and we can redo this this search, maybe meet both of your needs?
I think maybe the best thing is maybe you can send us a few homes tonight, and then we can we've done this a little bit, but not too much, and kind of see what's out there, and then we can discuss together what we like and don't like about the homes that we see, and maybe we can set up an appointment after that.
Right. Well, I mean, we certainly can do that. I want to make you happy, but at the same time, from my experience, the best move is to hone in on this search now. The reason I average 5 homes is I can go with 27,000 houses to look at. I can go pick a few random ones and we'll go look at them. But likely they're not going to be the ones for you unless we got really lucky. What I like to be able to do is narrow down that search so that when we're out there looking at homes, you're not frustrated with what you're seeing. You're walking in and saying, man, this is it, or something like it. So what we can do is we can get a basic understanding of what it is you want. And if you'd like, I'd love to be able to sit down with you and your wife. We'll really hone in that search to that portal. What typically happens is I say below 100, but I usually average about 50 houses in that search. And then from that, just because of maybe neighborhood locations, something, you're usually going to be able to go through that 50 and end up with really 3 to 5 homes. And go see those homes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's make her happy and give her a decision.
Cool. Absolutely. Well, step number 1, again, we'll draw back to the beginning here, is lending. So what I want to do is, it sounds like you might be the main person the lender wants to speak to. Because that's the case. Okay. So I'm going to have Jonathan, he's partners with Michael Freeman here. He's going to reach out to you here in roughly a half hour. If we really want to get that process started, you said that your wife is motivated to want to get out of the small quarters. Jump into this first. If you get everything to Jonathan ASAP, that's just that much sooner that we can get into houses. Because once we know where you're qualified, that's going to be when we can actually start looking at homes.
Yeah, have him give me a call.
Perfect. So we'll do that as soon as he can give me a good idea of what price point you're qualified for. I'll set up that time. We'll sit down with your wife. We'll narrow down that search, and then at that same time, when we narrow it down, we'll pick a few houses out of this and we'll go see them. Great. So then I look forward to it. All right. Well, sounds good, Charlie. Well, it's been wonderful meeting you. I look forward to meeting your wife as well. Okay. And this is just going to be a fun process. I know that I'm sure you've heard from a lot of people